Hi, Ziggy here again from Look 10 Years Younger, and I've got 3 of my favourite foundations for you that are really great for mature skin. So if you want to know which ones they are, stay tuned, it's coming right up. Okay, so my number 1 out of the 3 is the Chanel Vital Lumiere. And the shade that I use is 20. Now this comes in a 30 ml bottle. It's SPF 15. I really like the Chanel Vital Lumiere because it's a beautiful satin finish. I do find that you need a beauty blender rather than a brush for this one because it can give you brush marks if you're not careful. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes to really settle into your skin, during which time it's still quite tacky, so you can move it around a little bit. It gives you a light to medium coverage, but it is buildable, and it's a beautiful satin kind of finish. So it's not that hugely dewy, illuminating finish that shows off all of your creases and your fine lines that we get when we're this mature. But it's not so matte that it's lifeless and dull either. Has a lifespan on the skin of around 6 hours. I do find after 6 hours, particularly around my nose, around those oily areas, it does tend to break up a little bit. For those of you with dry skin, I have found that it doesn't cling to dry patches too badly. I tend to get a little dry patch under here. That's as a result of using AHAs predominantly, but foundation, if it's not suited for me, will cling to that dry area there. This one doesn't do that, which is really good. But for those of you with slightly oily skin, I think you will find that it will break up just a little bit. But this is my all-time favorite, and I love this one lots and lots. And my number 2 is the Dior Nude Air. Now this is a beautiful foundation. It also comes in the 30 ml bottle, or 1 fluid ounce for those of you not in Aussie land. Comes in a beautiful bottle. This time, unlike the Chanel Vital Lumiere, which was in a pump, this is actually in a dropper. It is very, very lightweight. It is not designed as a heavy full coverage foundation. You won't get a full coverage out of this at all. But it has a beautiful, again, another satiny kind of finish. There's not an awful lot between this one and the Chanel Vital Lumiere. But it is a little bit more satiny. It's slightly more matte. I use this one an awful lot for work. It tends to be a little bit more lightweight coverage. It looks very, very natural on the skin, which I really like. It does tend to break up after about 4 or 5 hours, particularly across oily areas again. It dries to it clings to dry spots just a little bit more than the Chanel Vital Lumiere as well. So if you tend to get dry spots around here, you will find that it may cling to those a little bit. It doesn't cling to fine lines and creases. I find my major spots for that are around here and around my chin, but it doesn't do that. So this is my number 2 favorite, my second on the list. And my third one that comes onto the list is the YSL Touche Éclat. Again, this is 30 ml bottle. It's quite a large bottle, and this one is a pump again. I quite like this one. This one has got an SPF of 22 from memory. Yeah, 22 on this one. I'm not quite sure how you get an odd number right in the middle between 20 and 25, but it's an SPF of 22. It has a much more buildable coverage than the Dior Nude Air and the Chanel Vital Lumiere, so you can build this up just a little bit more, but it is still a light to medium coverage. But buildable. It is slightly more illuminating than the first 2 that I showed you, but not to the point of being grossly too badly lit up, if you like. I do find with this, if you don't use a beauty blender and really blend it in, that it will settle in creases, which is really annoying. And so you really do need to set this with a powder. It's one of the reasons why it sits at number 3 on my luxury foundation list, because of that need to set it with powder. I prefer not to use powder. I much prefer cream product, cream blusher, cream highlighter, so on and so forth, because I find that with a mature skin, if you're using powder to set things, it can actually make you look a little bit more older than you need to. So it does sit at number 3 for me, but it does give you more coverage than the Chanel Vital Lumiere and the Dior Nude Air. So that was my 3 favourite luxury foundations for mature skin. Look, I'd really love to hear what are your favourite foundations, drugstore or luxury. Especially if you find them they're really good for mature skin. Please mention that below in a comment and share that with us all. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that button down there, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up as well. I look forward to seeing you in my next video, so until then, take care. Bye from me.